Let it be noted that these organizations have been in place doing ongoing relief work before this disaster, alleviating the abject suffering of Haitians caused not primarily by natural disasters, but by the oppression and exploitation of Haiti, by the global white supremacist power structure,
call them out.
Also known as Euro-American imperialism, led by the USA and France, who have been punishing Haiti unrelentingly since it dared to commandeer its independence in 1804. 206 years ago, thus defeating Europe's three greatest superpowers of the time, France, backed by the USA, Spain, and Britain. The global white supremacist media has bombarded our senses with images and reports of white philanthropy in Haiti, in the form of British, American, Canadian, French, Israel intervention. News of their benevolence and gallantry would bring tears to your eyes until you receive reports from the ground via independent African mediums like Voice of Africa Radio, Galaxy Radio, and well-connected, well-informed Pan-African organizations like the Pan-African Society Community Forum, Haiti First, Haiti Now, the Alkebu-Lan movement, the Hora movement, the All-African People's Revolutionary Party, and many more. These reports revealed that food, water, medicine, and urgent medical treatment was not reaching the overwhelming majority of our people. The shocking truth was that the USA had taken control of Haiti's airport and had blocked airplanes with supplies from Africa and the Caribbean from entering. Some European countries were also blocked. It is well known that the first 48 hours of such tragedies are vital in the saving of lives and limbs. If the USA, with its 20,000 troops on the ground, was not primarily concerned with saving lives and limbs, then what was their real hidden agenda? Further reports of fully armed troops in combat gear and in tanks driving through communities and brutalizing Haitian civilians seem evident that its motive was occupation rather than a relief operation, which would be consistent with the USA's historical role in Haiti. Even its partner in crime, France, began questioning USA motives alongside Russia, and CARICOM also began raising concerns. The most favored pretext used for the inability of 20,000 well-armed American troops to get food, water, and medical aid to the victims of the earthquake-shattered Port-au-Prince is alleged local violence and looting. However, when that failed to impress, they claim logistical constraints due to the overwhelming of the airport, the damage to the Haitians harbor. Yet, there were no constraints in landing 20,000 American troops. Hundreds of Euro-American media personnel with their tons and tons of equipment, all of whom were evidently well-fed and watered. Not surprisingly, the death toll rocketed, with most of those saved being rescued by the hands of Haitians themselves or CARICOM personnel who arrived before the American blockade. To exacerbate the excruciating tragedy were reports of the kidnapping and trafficking of Haitian children, some orphans, others despite vigorously protesting that they had parents. According to the Haitian lawyers and activists, Sister Ezili Danto, and 10, you know. The 10 American Christian missionaries recently caught smuggling 53 children out of Haiti was the tip of the iceberg. This mass criminal activity, she added, alongside pedophile, rape, and all manner of sadistic institutional abuse of Haiti's children by the European and American priests and UN troops long preceded the recent earthquake. Tendai Mwade. Just to inform you, sisters and brothers, we do have some tapes available on sale. CDs available on sale of one of the Africa Speaks program on Voice of Africa Radio with Sister Azili Danto and Bro.Ldr.Mbandaka, where Sister Azili breaks down what has been happening in Haiti. Our brothers and sisters, it's a very, very... Haiti's Prime Minister, Jean-Max Bellarive, attested to the fact that aeroplanes had been intercepted in Haiti with cargoes of body parts. As we gather to lament the tremendous loss and suffering of Mama Africa's sons and daughters in Haiti, let us not lose sight of the political undercurrents. Let us not forget that Haiti has been under constant attack by the global white supremacist power structure, who, because of Haiti's historical legacy, are determined not that Haiti never be a successful nation. It must suffer for its sins for freeing itself from slavery. This is why it has been reduced to the state of the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. For this reason, and because we know that earthquakes can be artificially induced, we must not readily accept that the earthquake that hit Haiti was a natural disaster. We must raise a question as to whether this is in fact geological warfare. The manner in which the USA, Britain, France, Canada, etc. have sought to make political capital out of the Haiti earthquake disaster suggests much. Furthermore, Haiti is a source of tremendous economic potential. In fact, despite its modern reputation as the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, it was reputed to be the pearl of the Antilles, the richest country in the Caribbean. In the 1700s, in more recent times, gold and oil has been found on her soil. Brothers and sisters, let us hail the people of Haiti, whose proud ceremony restore honor to her name and dignity to her humanity. Tendai Mwade.